All right, hey folks, we're going to do some artwork this morning. Give me a second here to check my signal, make sure that we're coming through clear, and we're going to get to work for a little bit. I'm starting a little bit later than usual, so I'm going to have to start. I'll have to stop a little bit earlier than usual. So this will be a short session today. I'll have to stop a little bit earlier than usual. God's grace, everything's going to go well. So we're still working on Atur Academy. Trying to get that finished. I was able to work on it some last night as I had intended. But it's just taking a little bit longer than I expected. Isn't that just how life works, especially mine? So my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games, I illustrate them, and I publish them online. And I'm creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, specifically an Eberron adventure called Crystals of Mabar. It's going to be publishing on the DMsGuild once it's been completed. Just like all the other books that I've published that are listed down below. Yeah, so you can check all that stuff out. If you think this stuff is cool, I'd love to keep you. Like, subscribe, hit the bell icon for notifications when we're live in the future. Here's a playlist of all 526 episodes of creating all the maps, tokens, assets, and illustrations for this adventure. Here's a stack of books that I've already created that are on the DMsGuild, and you'll see that they're all 100% free preview, as will this. So without further ado, let's get to work. We made this book cover around episode 40, but this is what we're currently working on here. So take it back to the full screen. We use a 16:9 format, digital. Since this is a digital, hold on, let me get this resized. There, that's how it should be resized on your screen. If you're using full screen, you'll see on your monitor these maps will go away. These references will go away. But this is a 16:9 full image on your device, 16:9. This fits. There's 3 columns. It's not visible currently, but there's 3 columns per page, and those are also 16:9. So once this book publishes, when you download it and put it on your device, you'll be able to read a full page in one glance, or you can zoom into each individual column and focus on whatever particular topic of conversation that's addressing. So we've been working on. I wanted to be done with this already, but boy howdy, it's a lot of detail. It's a lot of challenge to me. So we're just gonna keep plugging away until it's done. So here we are, plugging away. The next thing I want to work on is I think I need to clean up the structure down here. So we're gonna work. Let's see. Hold on. What is this? And that is unnecessary. So let's get rid of that. Let's see. We're working on the filigree. Technically, it's just detail, but whatever. Let's see. What is this connected to? Hip bone. We should take this layer and put it on that layer. 1, 2, 3. That technically doesn't serve a purpose anymore. Wait, hold on. Before I destroy that, I better look at the hole. Yeah, it's only over there. Okay, so this layer is no longer necessary. What about this one? What does this one do? Nothing. So we can get rid of that layer. That one serves a purpose still. But technically, that's structure. That's filigree. These are both technically structure. This this all still jiving? Yeah. All right, we're doing some rearranging over here, folks. Don't mind me. What is this? Hold on. Oh, this was the dome. Oh, this is the dome references. That dome was a lot. But we figured it out, so very good. Let's see, dome, filigree, front tower. So the front tower has its own setup. The right tower has its own setup, and then the we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 window archways, I guess. And we can see 1, 2, and then a sliver of 3 over here. There's a 4th here. That would be out of perspective. Hold on, what's going on over here? Okay, that seems appropriate. There's that. Structure. Sorry, I have to go through these layers to find out where everything is at, so I know what I'm doing. There we go. That's gotta go. This was here. What else is that attached to? Okay, good. Let's fix that. Very subtle detail, but you know me. Very subtle detail, but you know me. Let's pull that forward and nope. Right tower, left tower, dome. Why are you not? Why are you not disappearing? How can you remain in place like that? Because it's reduced. That's why. To 20%. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so we want to delete that. There we go. Okay, now life makes sense again. Thanks a lot, guys. Okay, now life makes sense. I had to suss that out. The line there. Got those lines there. I still have to figure out. There's that. What are you on about? Oof, you're way up there. Okay. on. Not how I thought I was going to be running today's session. But that's how it goes sometimes. That. Yes, this goes here. And it's going to merge in with good, merge down there, there. This stripe. About like that. It's very poorly done, but that is effectively what we're attempting to do there. What else we got going down here? That. Got that. Got that. Got that. Got that. Okay, so that's all structural stuff still. And that's the structure overall. Can I grab this? Yes, I can. Can I grab this? Yes, I can. There. That's our actual structure, and this is our actual filigree. And then actual towers here, and our dome. Okay, cool. We're all organized again, guys. Thanks a lot for your patience. Let's suss this out. That feels about right. Drop this down to 25%. Here. No, yeah, that feels about right. That angle's a little off. Free transform. We're gonna skew that just a smidge so it lines up properly, and then we can bump it up. That looks pretty good. This one's off. So let's free transform and skew and put this in alignment. You tell me the timer. We're doing railing. So we have the external surface here, where we have this railing, and then on the next floor up, but it's set further back into the structure, so it's shaded as a second story inside this archway. Transform, skew. It's too much. Transform. Give it a bit of a twist. There we go. My hair is just going crazy today on my face. Almost there. Zoom in a touch for transform. Skew. Bring that down just a smidge. And for transform. Skew. Bring that up a smidge. Let's actually transform this. Skew. Off. Transform. Skew. This whole bit looks off now. Transform. Give this a twist. Good. Good. Now we can add in. Good. Now we can add in. Let's take this to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Close enough. I don't want to belabor the issue too much. It just gets a little ridiculous. 1, 2. I started, so I do artwork like this, as tedious as it is. I do artwork in the mornings, and fix my screen here real quick. We do artwork like this, and then we do game design on Mondays and Thursday nights, as well as typically Tuesday and Friday lunchtime. We design new supplements and game systems, and I've been augmenting the 5e24 game system with additional depth, like adding. Right now, we're working on the Bastion campaign supplement, which takes the idea of bastions from the 2024 DMG and basically make subsystems and mini games out of it to basically give your characters risk and reward options with how they're issuing orders to the Bastion. So like basically making ability checks out of using your Bastion to do things, and depending on the success or failure that you have in your tasks, you can accomplish more than what the bastions are described as in the DMG. So I'm going to reduce the size of that by a touch. So the basic ideas are in place, and the system is balanced. Now we just have to wordsmith the thing so that it speak good and people can understand what the document is attempting to accomplish. The raw mechanics are there, but we have to build all the connective tissue that makes the thing go. Most of my streams that I've been doing are either artwork like this, or game design like I'm talking about, but so far most of the stuff that folks have been seeing during those streams is just basically ideation, like coming up with the concepts and building out the structure to see if they work. And when they do, we make a book. And we're just about at the point where everything that we've done makes sense with the Bastion campaigns, and now it's time to actually start making the book, which means that we're going to be doing a lot of wordsmithing. And I honestly have no idea if people are going to be interested in that or not. So, like I said, that's typically Mondays and Thursday nights, as well as Tuesday and Friday lunches. I acknowledge today is Friday, and thus it's time for lunch. But I've got an appointment I have to keep, so I won't be doing my typical design stream, my Tuesday lunch design stream. I will not be attending today because I have to take care of real life. Hey, Defected, how you doing? I came for the art. That dome is looking sick, Phil. Thank you. Yeah, it took a little while to get that guy figured out, but it was totally worth all the hurt. I get the thing. I accomplished the goal and I do the thing. It's just how torturous of a process is it going to be to achieve the goal? And often the answer is very. Everything takes more time than I want it to. But that's my current art struggle. You know, once I figure out. Just like Sammy Hagar, there's one way to rock, and when Sammy Hagar figures that one way out, he's gonna make a lot of fucking money. That's an 80s joke for anyone out there that's familiar with Sammy Hagar. That's one of my favorite jokes of all time. It's stupid, but it insults Sammy Hagar at the same time. So to me, that's quality content. Not that I have any particular actual hate for Sammy Hagar. It's just funny. Let's drop the opacity on this down to 20. Oof, that was 26, 23, 25. There we go. My targeting is getting better. So I want to have this like receding into the structure. So I think what we want to do next is take this. Take this here, and then let's drop it down to 50%. Here, and then let's drop it down to 50%. Yeah. No. Get rid of that layer. Put it back in. Sup? I understood that reference. I know that one. Let's see. What is the size here? 6. Let's see. What is the size here? 6. I got this whistling going on in my nose. I can hear it. I know you can't hear it, but I can totally hear it. It's driving me slightly mad. It's just, these little details are basically all I really have left. They just take some time to do. 6. We'll take this one to 7. I don't want to do each individual slat. I feel like that'll be a little excessive. I don't want to do each individual slat. But I can't just leave this. I can't just leave this archway flat. It'll look two-dimensional and like a sticker. So I have to do some depth of frame here. This is the kind of stuff I was hoping I would get done last night, but that dome took longer than I expected. I'm pretty happy with the dome as it sits. I don't think I need to do more with it. I'm pretty happy with the dome as it sits. I don't think I need to do more. The overall structure of this thing looks. I mean, basically the thing is done except for this detail work that I'm doing. So I'll be able to do like a little bit of like little doorways and hallway frame and stuff inside here. And then I'm pretty happy with this rib along this area here. But this needs work. Basically the same sort of attention this is getting, but different. And then I have this to do and this to do, which will also be a pain in the ass. So I'm hoping I'll have a few hours tonight to be able to knock down, at least get one of these resolved so that I could duplicate the effect over here as well. Hey, Steve, it's good to see you. Come on, it is coming along. No such thing as excessive. Not on this building. It's a monster. It is definitely a monster. Okay, so this is facing pretty straight on to the camera. This has a very, very mild presence, so I'm going to beat it up right. Yeah, I'm getting to a point with this that I have to remind myself that I love it, so I don't murder it. Kind of like kids. It's I am tired of it. But that happens. It's after 500 episodes, I'm a little fatigued. Can you blame me? Which is why I work on other projects. Like if I wasn't working on the Color Mana system or the Martial Power system or the Bastion campaign supplement, if this was all I was doing, I would fucking off myself, because it's such a huge lift that I need an emotional and mental reprieve from it occasionally. But it sure does take a while, so it'll get done. We'll get it done. I have no fear of that. It'll get done. We'll get it done. I have no fear of that. I am way too committed to the cause. We're so far in. It's just a matter of limping across the goal somehow. But I can feel it. I can feel the spiral. When we're done, when we finally finish this piece, we'll be moving on to resolving the frame, the page frame. It's just we've just been using a temporary holder, a stand-in for now. But what'll often happen is I'll work the document, and I'll get to a point where I can see where it's supposed to be at. I can visualize the final product, and that's when I can step in and what's this frame supposed to actually look like? Because as you can see, it's just kind of it's just rough right now. But our next step is to pretty that up. And what I'm envisioning is basically a it's basically like that. Hold on. No. There we Hold on, I check my shit. There you go. What I'm envisioning is some sort of whatever it is that we come up with. It's going to be something that can bleed into the page, like we did with Spelljammer. That to be able to have this border bleed into the space as a background for the page, and then the text sits on top of it, like gritty crystals or like mushrooms or something in the corners, or like moss or whatever. So that if I have like a little, if I have like a, hold on. Like, it's not unusual that I'd have like a little pinch in the corner down here like this. Right? And like, it's too small for an actual illustration, but I want to do something, but I don't want to just leave it white and blank. So if the frame that I use has some sort of an extended texture or some sort of background imagery to it, then if I have like this little pinch of column at the bottom of the page that isn't being used for anything, it's not just a glaring blank space. There's enough texture and just visual turbulence that it's not just that's not garish and blank. So that's going to be what we'll be working on next. But we got to get ourselves through this piece first. So let's keep at it. Down. But we're getting there. Like, we're running out of tasks. When you've ran out of actual tasks to perform, you're done. You publish the thing. Until then, when you keep noticing, and at some point you're going to be like, nah, I'm just going to let it go. Because then you're like, scope sprawl is an issue. Scope sprawl is when it's like, oh, what if I added this thing? Oh, what if I added this thing? Oh, this would be cool to add. And then once you get done adding all those things, like, you've doubled the size of the project that you had intended. It'll look cooler, but it'll also be significantly more work to get done. And that is, like, if you don't have a project, this is the value of a project manager. A project manager will help rein in scope sprawl. Because when you're designing something, and if it's something that you love and it's something that you want to use and it's cool, then finding more ways to use it, or like expanding its applications so that you're leaning into that design space that you've created, that is a huge temptation. And you have to cut off at some point. Like, this is beyond the scope of the intended project. Thus, the term scope sprawl. We're sprawling out of our intended purpose. Like the color mana system that I've been streaming alongside martial powers. Like, including the Scion and the Artificer and the core in the 2024 core mechanics of color mana. It technically, the Artificer and the Scion are not in the player's handbook. So the same thing with like Ravnica, Renown, and Theros, Piety, and Strixhaven College. These are all systems that we've either implemented or further developed on our own, but that's beyond the scope of what's in the player's handbook. So, like, if the core mechanics book is a way of replacing the spellcasting system in D&D's core rulebook to use the color mana system instead, logically limiting that book, the scope of that book, to simply address replacing spellcasting with the concept of color mana is the project. And then the expansion of like revising Ravnica, Renown, and like integrating the Bastion campaign into Strixhaven's college credit system. That's an expansion that isn't part of the core rulebook. So it's that scope sprawl, and recognizing that scope sprawl means that I could then carve off that piece and not worry about it in the initial core mechanics book, and to save that for a separate expansion that people can opt into, whether if they might like the color mana system, but like I don't care about this. I don't care about Strixhaven, so that's unnecessary information and it's redundant to the project. And not redundant. It's a scope sprawl. It's exceeding the value of the project. So recognizing where your sprawl is at helps make sure that you stay somewhat in line with where you're attempting to go. And I think I'm okay with scope sprawl. It's just I'm also very thorough. So it's not. My problem isn't so much sprawling, like spilling into other topics. My problem is how deep into the topic I want to go to cover all your variables. Like if you look at the Spelljammer book that I published down below, it covers like freaking everything, like even getting down to like how do ships squeeze into smaller spaces. Like that's a very niche detail that could be inferred, but I spelled it out so that there was no gray area, so there was no miscommunications. But it probably wasn't actually essential that I included. There's that, this. Let's go with upper deck. And I'm content with that. We'll go lower deck. So we're still working the upper deck right now. There's that. There's that. Sorry, I have to fix this. There we go. All right, so now let's do some interiors. Oh shit! I'm gonna hit save real quick. Hey, what's up? It looks like. Hey, thanks, Rel. It is certainly coming along. I gotta close that out real quick because I broke the frame. Let's reopen it. The gratification process for the price of starters. Yes, exactly. Yeah, this thing's really coming along pretty nicely. I'm very, very pleased with it. It's a good piece. I don't do a lot of... See, here's the thing. When we get into building the bashing campaign, I am anticipating doing a lot of structure work. Maybe I maybe the muse will take me in a different direction, but I imagine I'm going to end up doing a lot of structural environmental work like this, mixing Bob Ross techniques in with the architecture of creating structures like an abbey or a castle, keep, wizard's tower. I'm kind of excited about that because architecture and structures is my weakest piece. I have the least number of techniques to be able to produce effects quickly with it. Like anything like human, like people, creatures, environments, equipment, all that stuff. I've gotten pretty good at moving quickly with it, so that I don't, want to kill myself in the process of building it. But structures, I do not have that level of depth of control over structures to. That's something I need to work on. So this is the first steps in this process, I think. Do I really need to have support beams underneath this? That might be a level of detail that I don't actually need. But boy, I'm kind of enjoying it. So I think I'm fucked. Let's get rid of the support beams. I can just go with shadow underneath here. I can get away with that. So let's just first for now, let's just go with the undercarriage of the that angle. I want to have this underlayer here because it'll help reinforce the perspective that we're looking up at the academy, that it's rising above the tree line around it, right? So I want to have that perspective in there, but I also don't want to murder myself in the process of doing it. Alas, earwax. So I think I can just get away with like just a little cheaty detail inside here. I think I can just get away with like just a little cheaty. These little pinchy details is what I was working on the dome last night. Just took a while to do it. I feel like this should be deeper. No, that's. I now understand why I was considering those beams, because like a beam would be like this at this angle, while over here it'd be like this. So I can infer more curve by having the underbeams. I understand now. I understand, my lord. Oh, the pains that we go through. Let's try that again. So yeah, we'll add in support beams underneath it. It just makes too much sense. And that foreshortening there isn't going to allow for any of that gap. Let's clean that up a little bit. What are you doing, Kearney? Just erase. There you go, buddy. Okay, so let's figure this out. We'll have... Yeah, that's a little off. Fuck off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we'll go with center point and push back. Like that. Don't need one there. Free transform. Get you straightened up. Skew, free transform, yeah, it's still a little off. This needs to be lifted up a smidge. Yeah, that helps. this is too tall. Or is this too short? No, that feels right over there. So let's bring this in a smidge. Free transform. Wait a second. I'm on the wrong layer. That's the layer I need to be on, right here. Thank you. Not too disastrous. All right, but we're back to where we were. Right. So I need to bring this up a smidge. There. Trim that off. Oh, what a minor detail. This, I feel, needs to be pushed up a little bit more now, too. Good. Very, very, very small detail. Good. Very, very, very small. I'm going to hit save because my program's locking up a little bit. I feel like it's going to crash sometime soon. I also don't have a lot of time left. God, I started so late today. There was a question on the Discord today, and God bless, I love the technical questions about using the Bastion system for experience points. Like the Beckme system has you replace gold pieces. Like you basically purchase experience points by throwing gold away. That's essentially how Beckme operates. And hold on, let's take into account we have a person here. Essentially, they'd be like this. So I want to have this. Door frames, something like that. Door frames, something like that. And that got me that question got me on a little bit of a tear, which ended up having me. I was already late because my morning routine got disrupted. I won't bother. I won't paint you with the details that I was painting through, but that resolved. So I was late to start, and then I got distracted with a question on my Discord, and before you know it, it's almost 7 o'clock. I'm like, well, shice. I got to get my shit in gear. So, pardon the pun. I got to get my shit in gear. Pardon the pun. So this is going to be a short session today, just an hour long. There we go. Now we're starting to have some. If I want to be smart, I can do that. Got our door frame idea figured out. So there. Again, we established a structure, right? We've got the upper railing, and then we've got the under struts, and now we have support beams as part of the building, and it's something that we can, like these door. No, I'll do the door later. Now we have this as a reference, and I don't need that there. Subtle. Too thin. There we go. There. Now we're using foreshortening to show distance and scale, and we're using the subtlety of the line work poking through the railing to show distancing. So this is set further into the structure than where the railing is at. And we have another one peeking through over here. A little bit wider. There we go. Stupid little subtle detail, but like Samuel L. Jackson says, it's the small details that sell the story. That was too close. At some point, I'm going to punch a hole through this window. To have the light coming. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to bother. That feels pretty good. Now we have our framework put in place. We can put in occasional doorways. Wider than that. There we go. I can actually grab this one, copy paste, and bring it over. Get a smidge. Good. Merge down. I hear you. I'm going to finish these doorway arches, and then that's all I have time for this morning. Let's come over here. We're going to free transform, flip horizontal, expand, drop. Clean that up a little bit. Something like that. There we go. Paste. See, now you can now you have that parallax effect. That you can see that there's a curve that's going on here because of the way that the things that are set further back into the building are being displaced by the forward wall columns that are separating the archway windows. We can reduce the size of this one a smidge. That feels about right. Let's just leave it there. And then reduce this one down a bit. These down, and I honestly I don't think I need like this level of depth in there. I don't feel like I need more than just a little bit of line work like that. Maybe a little bit of shading inside that door frame, but I don't feel like I need to do a lot. I do, however, want to have a second story up here, so I'm going to have to extend these beams into the ceiling here. But I think the perspective is going to be beyond. Yeah, the height of this is like the actual roof of this is like about here. So these beams are going to extend further upward into the ceiling here than what the archway is going to be able to reveal. But that's a level of depth of detail. I think, considering the scale of the project, I think that's probably a level, like, as long as I get some like lighting effect, like some shadow work inside there, and a little bit of shadow here, like just some spot shadow, I think that'll infer enough information that I don't need to add any more real level of detail to it. So that'll take care of that. We're going to have to do the same thing for the archways that we have going on down on this road here. Luckily, forest covers most of it, so it won't be too much of a pain. But then we need to, this tower here, that's going to be, that's going to require the most attention. So I suspect I'll be able to resolve the upper deck and probably the lower deck off camera tonight. God's grace. And then when we come back in tomorrow, we'll work on this front tower, and then we'll be able to basically duplicate and flip perspective and do the same, assuming that there's not, we'll do the flats, but we'll worry about lighting and perspective. But I should be able to duplicate and flip the effect over onto this tower. So far, we've been able to do that pretty successfully. Because it's technically the same perspective, it's just mirrored. And then this one's squinched in a little bit for the because of the perspective shift. So it doesn't obviously look like it's just flip perspective, but it is. So I'll be able to clean up the architecture here and then flip perspective here to have the architecture right. And then I can add in detail as we need here, and then flip perspective here to get that right. And then it'll be done. So, what is this, Tuesday already? Fuck my life, man. I bet we won't have this finished until fucking Friday. That's a week longer than I wanted, which doesn't bode well for the project in general. I'm thinking somewhere between September and November. God's willing, I won't have to slide back further than November because I really want to be working on something new in the new year. I really want to have this done in 2025. Jesus, please be done in 2025. I'm crying inside about how long this project is taking, but I love it though. I love it. So I can't. The labor pain is real. I am pushing as hard as I fucking can. I got the Lamaze going. I got my husband holding my hand, and I'm screaming at him to shut the fuck up. We'll get it. We'll get there. We'll get there. All right, that's it for now, guys. I gotta bounce. I really appreciate folks hanging out, checking this stuff out. I stream artwork, maybe not artwork like this, but artwork Monday through Fridays. We do game designs Mondays, Thursday nights, Tuesday and Friday lunches. Except today I have an appointment. I can't have my Tuesday lunch. I'm sad about that, but I gotta let it go. And that's it. So I'll see you guys soon. Thanks a lot for being here. And that's it. So I'll see you guys soon.